Hi everyone, it's me, Ben, and welcome back to Ben Builds. And in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how you can fix a broken Apple charger. See, a lot of these Apple chargers fray at the ends, and it becomes difficult or impossible to use them to charge your MacBook. So, I'm going to be potentially showing you how to save $70 by fixing them yourself. Let's get started. So when Apple built their MacBook Pro and MacBook Air chargers, they built them with, in my opinion, a little bit of planned obsolescence. When these chargers are used frequently, there are stress points located right here and right here. Where the cable connects to the computer, there's a lot of stress at this joint right here, and it tends to cause the cable to fray, as well as a lot of stress at this joint right here, where the cable enters the power supply box, and it tends to cause it to fray as well. After a while, there's only so much you can do to patch it up, and it basically needs a new cable. Now, Apple does not allow you to buy a new cable that connects to your computer. Apple's solution to this problem would be to buy an entire new power supply box. Basically, everything after this box right here would need to be thrown away and purchased, again, including this box right here. And that's about a $70 to $80 purchase for an 85-watt MacBook Pro charger. So there's got to be a better way. We can't pay $80 every single time we need a new charger. So what are we going to do? Well, the solution is, as most solutions are, eBay. And on eBay, you can pick up one of these. This right here is a brand new OEM, which is Original Equipment Manufacturer, cable from Apple that can be replaced. So over here you can see it's got the MagSafe adapter right here with the T connector and the light and everything. And on the other end, it's got two bitter wires and this little strain relief right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to crack this case open and basically put in the new wire instead and give this box some new life. So the first step to actually performing this repair is disconnecting the high side cable, which is the 120 volt cable, and making sure you're just left with the box and the cord. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to crack the case open, and the way you're going to have to do that is with a small common screwdriver, and you're going to have to slide it in between the seam right here and split the case open all the way along the edge of the box. Do this carefully. You don't want to nick up the case more than you have to, but it should come apart with some considerable effort. It's going to be too difficult to film because I'm going to be bumping everything around doing it, but I'll show you what the end result looks like. I found that the easiest method for getting this case open was applying a little bit of screwdriver pressure here, and you'd eventually snap out this little plastic corner piece. Once you had that corner piece snapped out by using the common screwdriver, I took these pair of flat pliers and put them in between here and spread them apart in order to crack the case open. So now I can go by hand and work my way around the case, snapping it the rest of the way apart. So once you're done cracking the case open, it should look something like this. When you pull the top cover off, you'll see that there is a piece of shielding over here, there's shielding down here, there's your high voltage or mains connector right here, and over here is the low voltage output connector. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel back some of these layers by removing this strip of tape right here and sliding out the copper foil like so, peeling that back, and taking the other layer of copper foil and using some pliers, peel that back as well. And you'll be left with something looking like this. What a mess. Apple really crammed a whole lot inside their charger. So we're going to unclip this right here, pull the entire thing out. So you've got the bottom case over here, the top case over here, and the whole electronics package over here. Invert the board And you want to look for the solder marks for the output wire, and in order to do that, we're going to have to remove some of the bottom copper, and you do that like so. And now you've got this bottom piece of copper foil off, and you peel back some of the copper over here, and you're left with the solder connections underneath this strip of Kapton tape right here and there for the output wires. So we're gonna go ahead and desolder these and solder in the new wires from our eBay special. So just take your soldering iron, heat up the blobs, and yank the wire out. When you're done desoldering, you'll have the entire length of cable freed from the box, and you'll see over here we've got two holes, the hole on the left and the hole on the right. It's very important that you remember that white is on the left and black is on the right. You do not want to solder these in improperly polarized, or you will hurt your computer. So, white is on the left, black is on the right. We're gonna stick in the wires through the holes, solder them in place, and proceed to start buttoning this back up. And once both wires have been soldered in place, you're done with this part. Now comes the reassembly, which is also very fun. If you lost any sill pads, like they just came out, try and find where they went. If you can't, I guess that's okay, but try and put them in places where you know that components would generate a lot of heat. So now it's time to begin reassembly. Just put back the top copper foil piece, like so, push it in place, and then the other piece of copper foil that you took off earlier slides into the little notch right here. There's a little tongue which slides into the notch, like so, and then is held in place with some of this 3M tape. You really ought to augment this with your own tape. Turn it around and slide the other piece into its other little hole, like so, and give it a good mash and tape it up. Once you have that copper foil back attached, you want to start preparing the case. What you want to do here is, if any of these little plastic corners fell out, you'll see we've got a corner right here, and we want to go ahead and install the opposite corner back in place, just like that. And then go ahead and drop the electronics package in. It's going to be a very tight squeeze. Alright, it took some fidgeting with, but I went ahead and got the entire top of the electronics package back into the bottom half of the case. This tape right here is just falling off. I recommend you augment it with some of your own. But the next step is going to be to put the top of the case back on, and there are some things to note when we do that. First off, this connector right here, the wires need to be shoved inside the case, and the little strain relief must be slotted properly into the side of the case, like so. As you can see now, it fits nicely, and that'll allow us to put the top back on properly. Now, the only way, unfortunately, to seal this case is with some super glue. This is not a snap case. Apple decided to glue it or ultrasonically weld it shut in the first place. So we're gonna have to apply our own super glue if we want to get it to shut properly. But what we're going to do is just slide the top over everything, making sure we try and keep these little corner pieces in place, and if they fall out, we need to slot them back into place, like so, and continue pressing down. And before you go all the way, you want to take your little corner pieces that fold out and make sure you've got those installed as well. Get the other one and slot it. See, if you close the case too much before you get those in place, you won't be able to get them back in later. And once you've got that, apply some firm pressure around the entire outside of the case, and try and get it to close as much as possible. I recommend using clamps when you super glue it shut, but just apply a bead around the outside edge and glue and clamp it in place. So I don't really have the best setup here. I'm using a pipe cutter as a clamp, and I'm only able to clamp 1/2 at a time, but I'm clamping it, applying a little bit of cyanoacrylate or super glue, and letting it dry, and then I'll go ahead and clamp the other side. Now that the glue is dried, I went ahead and plugged the Apple charger into the wall and connected the other end of the non-frayed cable to my Mac, and as you can see by the amber light right there, it is successfully charging. Congratulations, you've saved yourself over $70 by replacing this cord right here, which costs $7 on eBay. A link to that is going to be in the description for you to do this yourself at home. Thanks everyone for watching Ben Builds. Please don't forget to subscribe, it really helps support the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, feel free to click the subscribe button and check out some of my other videos.